Hi, my name's Connor from Conjurer. You're watching Forever Loud. Yeah, that's sick. That's not the sort of thing that we were kind of expecting. We were lucky and we played Radar, must have been 2022. I think the last one before it moved up here to Manchester. And that was great. We had a wonderful time. And so it's nice enough to be asked back in general, and then to be like headlining a stage. It was like when we got the email through and all that sort of stuff, it was like, well, yeah, absolutely, we're going to do that. So yeah, we basically just said yes straight away and have been waiting for it. It's looking pretty good. I think we're doing an hour, is what we were allotted, and then it's going to end up being kind of the last set of our like current album cycle. So it was an interesting one to put together, to kind of try and round that off and maybe get a few of the ones in that we haven't played as much. We've got an old one in the set that's like from our first EP that we don't play a lot, so hopefully people enjoy it, but if not, we'll have a nice time. Like, we're happy with our set list at least, and I guess we'll see how everyone else finds it. Yeah, we'll set the bar really low and then Tesseract can finish on a high. Yeah, but no, I love it like that. I get it for most kind of festivals with the amount of acts they book and stuff. There's always going to be clashes and you want to get as many punters in, so you book as many different bands. But yeah, it's always nice when you can just not have to stress about that and I might catch half of this set or whatnot. And the stages are like a 2-second walk from each other, and just everybody can watch everybody, and it's makes for a better, like, more interesting weekend than stressing, basically. That was so sick. The travel and the logistics of it are bullshit, but the actual time over there was incredible. Like, we were there for just under a week, which is like nowhere near enough. I get now why people, like, when they travel out there and stuff, they'll do months at a time or whatnot. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I did, but it's like, for me, it was a kind of perfect middle ground between like the US and the UK and touring Europe and a bit more. It seemed to have like the best of everything, and we were treated very well. All the shows were great, and so yeah, for a first time over there, really couldn't complain. So it's one of those where we want to go back as soon as we can, but again, the like 48-hour travel non-stop to get home wasn't super sick, so I get why you can't do it every other month or anything like that. It's insane. We've been saying this literally since like the first album. We've been able to do so much more than we ever dreamed of, like in an entire career in like the last few years, and it's a like really, obviously really nice position to be in, but you still never it's like you don't expect it. It's not like, oh yeah, obviously we're going to Australia. It's like the offer comes in and you're like, oh shit, like we have to make this happen. Like, we might not get the opportunity again. Like, it felt like that the first time we got offered to go like over to America. Like, the first time you get lucky and you do a tour on a tour bus rather than a van. It's just like, we're very fortunate to still be able to do a load of firsts and be able to look back and say, kind of then see what we've done in the last few years. And I don't know, it just sounds really corny, but like, be grateful for it essentially, because we're very aware that not every band, especially like you say, doing this sort of music as well, gets to do these things. And so it's kind of like, we're just going to do as much as we can, because it might get to a point where we can't, like, people could stop caring tomorrow, like there'll be a new band everyone cares about, that sort of thing. So yeah, we've been able to do an insane amount. It's all been incredible. I can't think of anything we've done where it's like, oh no, we probably wouldn't do that again, like in terms of countries we've been to or tours like bands we've toured with, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, so far so good, I reckon. That's a really tricky one, because for me personally, so I joined the band's got 2 albums, Maya and then Pathos, and I joined the band just after they'd finished recording Maya. So I've been in kind of that, and like I've been friends with the guys since like before the band even started, so it's like I've been around it the whole time, but as like an official member since just after they recorded that album. So I got the like kind of unique experience of being able to enjoy that as a fan, but still like do all the touring and be in all the pictures and all that sort of stuff. So Pathos for me was my first like proper album that I got to do, so it's kind of like my first child in that way. So it'll always kind of hold a special place for that. And then kind of what we were talking about before, how this festival is the last show of that cycle. It's been kind of interesting to say put the set together and reflect, and we've spent the kind of week leading up to this in a friend's studio here in Manchester writing the next album, or like trying to work on it. So that has kind of given us like a fresh perspective on it as well. So I think really in terms of what it means, it's just, I think we'll look back at it as really us taking the first steps of kind of cementing what Conjurer is. It's kind of like the first album is, it's the same with everyone. It's your debut. It's just your first kind of like steps into the industry and the scene and all that sort of stuff. And then the second one is kind of like, I think it's why people tend to call it like the tricky second album, because it's the one where you kind of really have to start bedding in. And I think, yeah, for us, it was a chance to try a load of different things musically that we didn't get to do on the first album. And that then opened up kind of different festivals and bands we could tour with and whatnot. And so, yeah, I think for me, it will be that. It will be obviously my kind of first child, so to speak, but the album that really kind of set us on this path that we hopefully end up being able to take and then continue on with album 3. But yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. It was, yeah. It was meant to be literally everything. We were going to fly over to America and record it and have him produce it and work on it with us as well. But then pandemic hit, so which is obviously a story for everyone. That's not just us. But yeah, we had to pivot, unfortunately, to recording some of it ourselves, some of it in a studio in the UK, and then yeah, he mixed and mastered it and smashed it. We're kind of in the process of throwing producers and stuff around at the moment, so obviously his name's come up again. I think, to be honest, we don't want to rule it out, but in general, I think we're leaning more towards kind of we want to work with different people, but we've kind of held off on committing until we have a little more idea of the actual songs and how they sound, because we might write it and go, oh no, Will would smash this, and then we can hit him up again, because yeah, he's a great friend now as well. We were fortunate enough, obviously he did the album, then we went out and toured with End, and so got to hang out with him for a couple of weeks. So yeah, definitely in any capacity would love to work with him again, but we're only just starting to have those conversations basically, so we haven't nailed in a producer yet. We got a few different names we're kind of throwing around, but then you get into all the business stuff about money and availability and everyone's schedule and whatnot, so yeah, we'll see. Oh yeah, you can't lock him down at all. He was already difficult to lock down, and then he decided he'd join 2 more bands, and yeah, he's killing it right now, which is sick. But yeah, busy guy. Of kind of what we were talking about with Pathos and expanding the sound and stuff like that, one of the things I've always loved about the band, even before joining, but kind of it's then been one of my favourite things, is I feel like we're a band that can pop up anywhere. So Radar is obviously, it's not, I don't want to say it's a niche festival in that sense, but obviously it's catered more towards a certain scene and sort of style of metal and all that sort of stuff. But I like the fact that we can pop up here, we can pop up at a Roadburn or a Bloodstock or a Download or any Euro festival, and we might stick out a little bit, but we can still turn up and crush it and do our thing. So yeah, I think the diversity of it is probably my favourite thing, is we just kind of call ourselves UK riff music, or our old drummer just used to call us non-specific metal. It's that sort of thing where I don't want to come across as like, oh, we do so many different things and we're the only band that sound like us. It's like we definitely take influences from stuff that's already out there, but the fact that we can pop up at all these different places is my favourite thing, because ultimately we just like doing this. And so the more festivals and tours we can do and just get out and being in a band, that's what we want to do. So yeah, my favourite thing is, I guess, that we can do that at a high level, kind of in almost any context or scenario sort of thing.